it's two different things here. And I think, like, look at the conversion of the one-off. Of course, it's going to be a higher conversion rate because people aren't subscribing to anything. But at the end of the day, you want subscribers. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to No Excuses. I'm your host, Chris George, co-founder and chairman of SUBTA. I've got John Wanderous with Wild Alaskan Seafood Box with us today. John, thanks so much for being on. How are you?
Appreciate it, man. I'm doing good. I'm pumped to be here.
Good to have you on. I know we chatted about a year ago and you applied to be on the show with me today and got some great questions about your business. So I'm happy to answer them. But real quickly, tell everybody a little bit about yourself and your box, and so people can get some insight.
Yeah, definitely. So I actually grew up in Alaska. I'm from a tiny little fishing town called Petersburg. So I grew up immersed in commercial fishing. I worked as a commercial fisherman for about 6 years, kind of put myself through college that way. After college, I worked up in Alaska running seafood factories for about another 7, almost 8 years. I've just been immersed in the Alaskan seafood industry pretty much my whole life. So started, we're now on my own, started my own business. Gosh, we're going in our 3rd year now. And, it really started out as a local business. It was Billings Seafood Guys based in Billings, Montana. We were super grassroots, just connecting with fishermen and really bringing amazing seafood down to a place that didn't really have that access. Since then, obviously, we've branched out. We've seen a lot of opportunities. We started Wild Alaskan Seafood Box almost a year ago now, really with COVID and all that. So we just, we saw opportunities to really go out on a bigger, audience level scale than just kind of our local business. And that's kind of where we are now, man. So I'm really excited to ask you some questions.
All right, well, let's fire off your first question. Let's dig in deep here, see how I can help you.
Yeah, man. So we've really created, we've just created a lot. So we still have Billings Seafood Guys, and where we are with that is it is a local and regional brand now. So we have a local showroom where, customers come, right to our physical brick and mortar store. We have a local delivery program in the Billings area. And then we do ship one-time orders in a regional zone, Montana, Wyoming, some of the states around us. So we have a really engaged customer base right there with Billings Seafood Guys. Now we have Wild Alaskan Seafood Box that is really turned into its own separate entity, separate brand. So we're at this point now to trying to figure out, really what our strategy is and our model to move forward. Wild Alaskan Seafood Box is definitely focused on subscriptions. That's our membership site. It's nationwide, where we have the logistics to ship, throughout the 48 states. And we also have one-time orders. But what we've done to ourselves is we've really kind of isolated Billings Seafood Guys with our memberships. So all of the pricing and the costing structure for Wild Alaskan Seafood Box and our membership program now is all based on nationwide. So it's really hard for us now to continue to grow, local memberships. So we're kind of at a point to where our next step is we're going to do a rebrand, and we're going to change the name of Wild Alaskan Seafood Box. But I'm really hoping to get some input from you on how to model this, because we're really looking at continue to have our nationwide brand, and it, almost kind of considered as our parent company. And then wherever we have, I don't want to get too confusing here, but wherever we have a fulfillment center, like in Billings, where we fulfill and ship all of our own frozen food, frozen products, we're going to have our local business. So that's where Billings Seafood Guys.
So let me ask you this question. Is the Wild Alaskan Box, that's still regional, or is that nationwide?
So that Wild Alaskan Seafood Box is nationwide.
Okay. So
it's on a separate site.
And you want to rebrand that? Why?
So I want to rebrand that. We're looking to switch it over to Alaskan Seafood Guys. There's a big competitor out there with a very similar name, and there's multiple other companies with very similar names. This is
for the box.
This is for the box.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So you want to diversify some confusion, so there's no confusion there. And you want to grow the subscription side of things, but are you unsure if you're going to like cannibalize the local sort of business? Is that one of the things?
So it's interesting because I'm looking at analytics on both sites, and we convert at a higher rate on our local website.
Of course.
And it's all, one-time orders right now or deliveries. And so what I really like the idea of is to, still be able to capture that. I mean, take advantage of the reoccurring model to where it might be more of really trying to play around with the idea of having like an annual membership. So I'm really looking to get your input on this, but let's just say customers, trying to figure out that cost structure, but say it's $100 a year and you become a member of Billing Seafood Guys. Within that membership, you right away, you get, let's just say 10% off all orders, along with all sorts of membership benefits like access to our cooking courses, all that stuff. But for subscriptions, we're really looking at playing around with the subscribe and save idea.
Yeah. Well, so you had a couple of things going here, right? Because you got, on one end, you got the subscription box, which is delivering them fresh seafood, right? On a monthly basis. Is that the cadence? Monthly? Okay. And then you're thinking about rolling out another membership model for the Billings seafood. So it's two different things here. And I think, like, look at the conversion of the one-off. Of course, it's going to be a higher conversion rate because people aren't subscribing to anything. But at the end of the day, you want subscribers because you have more predictable income. Businesses that have subscription consumers are getting higher valuations. They're just better business models, right? I was having a really good conversation with a professor yesterday from NYU, and we were talking about SaaS, which is software as a service, right? And then we were like, based on this book he was reading, he's like, look, it's turning into XaaS, which is everything as a service, right? Meaning everything's coming to you on a subscription. So what I think is like, I don't want you to muddy the waters with like one membership model to Billings, then you got a subscription box. Like I'd almost be trying to figure out how to funnel the one-offs from Billings into the subscription box model, right? You want to upgrade them to that. And it's easy to identify that because you're going to look at the customers that are buying, they're buying one-offs, but are they buying multiple one-offs throughout the year? And how can we upgrade them into a subscription model by just like building this an amazing experience?
Yeah.
Right. And maybe what you can do actually is, I'm sure there's customers that want the monthly box, but they also want to get more sometimes, right?
Yeah.
What I would do is say, as a subscriber to the subscription box, you get a discount on Billings.
One time. Yeah.
Right? You get a discount on those one time. Now you've just combined this. You've taken the subscription box model and built a membership in it as well. You've now created more value to the consumer than just getting the product monthly. You said, look, you're going to get this product monthly, but also you get 10% off our one-offs. You get access to our cooking tutorials. Build a huge experience and get everybody to be a subscriber, and that are buying one-offs when they need more. Maybe they're having a party. Maybe they're having an event. They need to buy. They get a discount now. It makes them brings them more value. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it definitely does. And what we're seeing right now is we've got a lot of work to do on our membership box because our LTV is not where it needs to be. Our acquisition costs are a little too high right now. And so I'm not trying to be too intimidated by that because, obviously we're in early stages. I get that. We've got a lot of work to do to create that experience. What I'm seeing though is, so earlier on, we had a local membership just for our Billings customers before we started Wild Alaskan Seafood Box. And we were able to build that up fairly quick and have a pretty high retention rate because we were local, we were doing all these deliveries ourselves and all these added expenses. We were able to have much smaller packages that people were willing to get, instead of spending 130 a month or 2 or 3 months. So we're almost looking like, hey, how can we do that for Billings? Because with the Wild Alaskan Seafood Box model, trying to do a nationwide and a local, that cost structure just isn't there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So you're saying because your subscription box is fairly expensive, 130 a month.
Yeah.
That is turning away some of the customers that don't spend that much. Do you have data around how much the average consumer spends at your local store a month?
So not so much through the store. I mean, through the website.
Through the website, fine. Yeah. What's the average they spend a month?
I'd have to look again, but I know, we're upwards of, just our average order value is just over $100.
Okay, so then the 130 should make sense, right? Like the data's telling you that that's not too expensive because people are spending that much.
Yeah. So I think where the confusion is with that is that so it's a 5-pound box through Wild Alaskan, and there's all the shipping built into that.
Yeah.
So what a nation, so what they would get, like if they just walked into the store, they would actually pay less to get that same thing than 130.
But you said they're ordering on the one-off site. Isn't that getting delivered to them still?
Oh, yes. But that's totally different pricing.
Right. But so they're still spending 100.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yeah. So then that tells me that your model's still right on the subscription box.
Definitely. And that's why we're kind of looking to create our own membership for those billing seafood guys, customers.
I wonder if you just something's telling me to build that into the subscription box. As a member of Wild Alaskan Seafood Box, you get 10% off, or whatever the percentage is.
Yeah.
The billings website, right? Like I know that you're saying they're two different entities. Is there a reason why they're two different entities?
Well, I mean, really
different
just
partners
because
or
no different partners. I mean, the biggest thing is I didn't feel comfortable going out to more of a nationwide audience, with that Billing Seafood Guys brand. So we initially created it as Wild Alaskan Seafood Box, by Billing Seafood Guys. Yeah. And now it's separate deal.
Now it's separate. Why didn't you want to go nationwide with the Billings Seafood brand?
I wanted to have more. I guess I wanted to have a different name. I wanted to have something more appealing, not Billings. I didn't want to create any of that question, confusion, landlocked area.
Okay. So then I guess, so, I mean, that's my suggestion with the membership model. I'd build it into the subscription box. I mean, look at their sister brand or brother brand, right? Like you can easily sort of identify that. But that's my recommendation on that. Yeah.
Cool.
What else?
Man, so we're going through this phase right now to where we're I've been talking about this rebrand, but we're all based on WooCommerce right now, and we're looking to make some changes over to like Shopify, and really curious on any input. It seems like every time we go down this path, we keep coming across Recharge, and we're looking to find a platform to where a lot of these things you kind of have brought up already, but right now, one thing that is amazing to me is that about 12 to 13% of our new members on Wild Alaskan Seafood Box will purchase an upsell. So we have that on our site. So it's huge, right? That's big for us, but we're not able to do that every time they reoccur. And so we're trying to make a switch to where we can take advantage.
You want to have it before the box ships that they add something to the purchase.
Yeah, we're missing out so much on that.
So I mean, look at what I would do is there's a few different companies you can plug into Shopify with, right? You've got Recharge, you've got Bold, and there's a few other folks, and I'm happy to introduce you to them. What I do is I create a checklist, a spreadsheet that is a checklist of everything you want the subscription software to do. And in the top column, you put Bold, then you put Recharge, then you put the other one, and you start meeting with each one of them, and you start to mark off. Do they do this? Do they do this? Do they do this? Because not some of them are going to be able to do some things that some of them can't, and vice versa. And you identify and you say, which is the best one for everything that we want to do?
Awesome.
That's what I would do on that end.
Yeah.
It's interesting. You brought up you said to me, the LTV is not great and the CAC's high on the subscription box. Yeah. To get the LTV up on the subscription box, you got to enhance the customer experience, provide more value. Yep. Give them access to the cooking tutorials for free.
Yeah.
Get them discounts. Build more than just a delivery of food, and that's going to increase LTV. The other thing you can do too is take a look at what month most of them are churning. So I'm going to just, for example, I'm going to say, let's pretend that the third month is where you see like the biggest drop off.
Yeah.
Okay. On that third box, put in an extra something. Like, hey, thanks for being a member for the last 3 months. Here's an extra shrimp. I don't know, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just making, thank you with a handwritten note. That might get them all to stay that one extra month. Now your LTV goes from 3 months to 4 months.
Yeah.
And now it matches up to your CAC level. And as you get the LTV up, you get to spend more on your customer acquisition costs to acquire more customers.
Yeah.
Right. So you want to be proactive on the LTV and retention as opposed to being reactive.
Cool.
Do you know why they're canceling when they cancel?
Well, yes and no. The biggest thing that we're getting on feedback is too much in the freezer.
Okay.
Or, and that's typically, month 3. That's where we're seeing a lot of that. Also month 1, where we're seeing, we feel like we're paying too much for that amount of food.
Yeah. So do you think they're paying too much for that amount of food?
Well, no, I don't. One thing that I feel like we made a mistake of is our seafood earlier on. We were doing full pieces or fillets. And so we're making a switch to fully be into portions. And number one, that's much more convenient for people. But number two, I mean, it's that perception too. You're seeing a lot more pieces of seafood in that box.
Okay, so that's good. You're making an adjustment. That'll help with that first month LTV. Good. The other thing too is if they're saying that, so let's say they go to cancel and they select the option, they have too much in the freezer. Do you have an option at that point for them to pause the subscription or skip a month?
Right now, no.
There's an easy solution, right?
Yep.
So, you know what? So glad to hear you've got all this in the freezer. Like, you can pause your subscription for a month.
Yeah.
And then it'll automatically renew the next month. Or give them the option to move into quarterly. Right? Don't let them cancel. Let's keep them.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So give them an option to pause or move into a quarterly subscription before they cancel. If they select, 1, they can't afford it right now, or 2, they've got too much stuff in the freezer.
Okay.
And imagine this. Imagine you whatever the software you move to, you give them an option too to go bi-monthly, quarterly, or monthly when they go to cancel.
Yeah, and that's what we saw a high churn rate. Like pretty quickly once we started this thing. So I've been listening to your stuff for a long time. So we did switch up for the one. Now we have a 1, 2, and 3 month option, and we're kind of just coming around to see what those every 3 month guys are doing. And I mean, so far, after month 1. A lot of them are still on, so that's
good.
But
yeah, you want to use that as a retention tool when they go to leave. Here are options, based on what they select.
And exactly, and that's the part of this moving over to this kind of new platform is to add a lot of that stuff in.
Just make sure you put those things I just told you on the checklist.
Definitely
help do that. Know. I also think you could probably get. So you said you get a good upsells in the first purchase.
Yeah.
That's great to adding LTV. Right. And then if you can do it pre-box shipment, you just send them an email prior. Says add this to your box for X amount of dollars.
Yeah.
LTV is going up.
Yeah. And that's what we're seeing. I've done a lot of research, not so much with Bold, but with Recharge. And just more of that experience inside that membership account. All those things we're able to do, which our guys are not able to do now. It's driving me nuts. So I think that would be a big deal.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Someone just popped a question up there. We need to catch them before and tell them to skip one. Yeah, you're right, Kim. I saw your question. All right, good. Let's go with a little more question here, John, before we jump off.
Yeah. So again, this is I really just want to get your input on this. It's not our model right now, and we kind of just talked through it, but I'm really interested in your thoughts and what you're seeing on businesses that are doing membership models to where, kind of like I talked earlier, like it is an annual membership. So just for example, you pay $100 a year to become a member of Wild Alaskan Seafood Box, and you're not getting a box per se, right? But you're getting all these other benefits like 10% off all orders, all this stuff.
Membership. Yeah.
What are you seeing with that and kind of businesses doing that, especially guys that have products?
Look, you've got to make sure that they're getting more value than they are spending. Like there's a savings for them and value there, right? It's like the Costco model, right? You pay your membership, but then they give you points and almost becomes free. As long as you can provide them more value than they're spending, it's got to be a pretty significant amount, right? So, for you, it's some data analysis as well. It's like, okay, if someone pays us $100 a month and they get 10% off all of their orders, well, what if they spend $5,000 in a year, right? Like now you just lost $400. Like, are they going to spend more because of it?
Yeah.
Is there like this value to the like tutorials, and can they find that for free on YouTube? I'm literally just throwing out thoughts here.
No, right? For sure. Yeah.
And it's just there's got to be good value there. Do I think some people do it? Some people do it well, but I actually think maybe you're better off with a subscribe and save instead of a membership. But now you're sort of building like this semi subscription box, but it's still different. But like maybe there's just something somebody wants every month and it's just that one item.
Yeah.
And so you get them on a subscribe and save. I think you'll do better with a subscribe and save over a membership.
Okay.
But you said you did it. You had it. Why did it stop? Or does it still exist? Or was that better because it was local people coming in? Right? Like the membership has replaced like the punch card and like the points, right? And maybe that does work better for people that are coming in because maybe they're just like grabbing something small for lunch and they always want to have a discount. Maybe, you know, I don't know, but I don't know that it works on a national basis as well. I think a subscribe and save does better.
Okay.
And that's how I would look at it.
Cool.
Yeah. Good. All right, John. Well, look I'm glad you were on. I'm glad you're crushing it. I want you good luck with everything. Keep me updated in your progress. And if you need anything, please let me know. And for those of you who are watching, thanks so much for watching. Check out John's Wild Alaskan Seafood Box. If you love seafood, check them out and subscribe. And for those of you that want to be on the show to be able to ask me questions, feel free to reach out to me or go to SUBTA.com/Chris G and we'll get you on one of these shows. John, thanks so much. Hope you have an amazing week and we'll talk soon.
Thank you, man.